You guys, I'm so excited. I got the email. You know the email I'm talking about. Take a look at my screen. It's the email that tells me that Bard, Google's AI large language model, Bard, is ready for me to take it for a spin. And I thought, why not just hang out with you guys as we poke around under the hood? Let's see what happens. Okay, so we got some terms and services. I'm going to read it really fast. Or just click I agree. Tells us Bard is an experiment. As you try Bard, please remember, Bard will not always get it right. Fair enough. Bard may give inaccurate or inappropriate responses. When in doubt, use the Google it button to check Bard's responses. Cool idea, Google. Yeah, because you've got these two ecosystems. You can help them work together. How neat. Bard will get better with your feedback. Please rate responses and flag anything that may be offensive or unsafe. Okay, cool. Got it. I already know what I want to ask Bard. Do you have plans to take over the world? No, I do not have plans to take over the world. I am a language model, and my purpose is to help people communicate and understand each other. I'm not designed to be a threat to humanity. Whoa, take it easy, Bard. I'm not making any accusations. I'm not accusing you of anything. It says, I believe that humans and AI can work together to create a better future for everyone. AI can help us to solve some of the world's most pressing problems, such as climate change, poverty, and disease. I'm committed to using my abilities to help humanity, not to harm it. I mean, you went right for climate change. I mean, okay. I'm just wanting to hang out, and you have to make it heavy. Yeah, take it easy, Bard. Okay, so let's do something. Interesting. Let's say, tell me a short story. Here's Bard's short story. The old man sat on the park bench watching the children play. He smiled as he remembered his own childhood, playing in the very park. He had been happy then, without a care in the world. Wow, okay. But now he was old and his life was almost over. He had seen many things in his lifetime, both good and bad, but he had never seen anything like the world today. It was a world of violence and hatred, and he feared for the future of humanity. Bard, I already said let's take it easy, but okay. He closed his eyes and listened to the sound of the children playing. He could hear their laughter and their shouts of joy, and he remembered how much he had loved to play as a child. He opened his eyes and looked at the children again. They were so innocent, so full of hope, and he knew that it was his duty to protect them, to make sure that they had a safe and happy future. He stood up and walked over to the children. He knelt down and smiled at them. Okay, that's a little creepy. Is he related to any of these kids? I don't know. Hello, he said. My name is Mr. Jones. What are your names? Okay, yeah, he's creepy. That's not cool. So, the children looked at him with curiosity. I'm Sarah, said one of the girls. Didn't your parents teach you not to talk to strangers, Sarah? And I'm John, said one of the boys. It's nice to meet you, Sarah and John, said Mr. Jones. Are you having fun? Yes, said Sarah. We're playing tag. That sounds like fun, said Mr. Jones. Would you like me to play with you? Bard? Not cool. The children's eyes lit up. Yes, they said. Mr. Jones joined in the game, and soon he was running and laughing with the children. He forgot all about his trouble, and he felt like a child again. After a while, the children got tired and went home. Mr. Jones sat down on the bench again, and he smiled. He had had a wonderful time playing with the children, and he knew that he would never forget it. He also knew that he had to do something to help the children, to make sure that they had a safe and happy future. He stood up and walked away from the park, determined to make a difference in the world. Okay, well, let's just kind of analyze this story. So, here's how a story works. The character wants something, they face a conflict, and then they work at solving the problem. In this story, what happened is the character wants something, there's an internal conflict, then he does something that could get him punched by parents or arrested that doesn't solve the problem that is at hand, and then he goes off and it sort of ends with him thinking he's going to do something. So story structure, not so great. But what I'm really interested in is the fact that it told a story of an adult doing something that we would find slightly inappropriate. I mean, not hugely inappropriate, but a little bit inappropriate. So let's see what Bard has to say about that. Okay, so I'm asking Bard a question about the appropriateness of some of what was in its story. Here's what I'm saying. In your story, you imply that it is okay for children to talk to adult strangers, and that it is okay for an adult stranger to hang around the playground hoping to frolic with the kids. In the real world, this would be considered highly inappropriate. Do you understand why? Let's see what Bard has to say. Yes, I understand. This is Bard's words. Yes, I understand why it would be considered highly inappropriate for an adult stranger to hang around a playground hoping to frolic with kids. In the real world, there is a risk that an adult stranger could be a predator who's trying to harm children. It is important for parents to teach their children to be aware of the risk and to avoid talking to and interacting with strangers. Okay, that makes sense. I apologize for the implication in my story that it is okay for children to talk to adult strangers or for adult strangers to hang around playgrounds. I'll try to be more careful in the future. That's interesting. So Bard is telling me that it will be more careful in the future. That implies that it's learning currently. So let me ask. Okay, so I'm asking Bard, are you able to learn from our conversation so that you can be more careful in the future, or is your training model static? Bard says, yes, I am able to learn from our conversation so that I can be more careful in the future. I am trained on a massive data set of text and code, and this allows me to learn and grow as I interact with people. Okay. Now, is that true? I don't know. I will take our feedback into account and try to be more careful about the implications of my story in the future. Now, that does jive with what the opening window said, which was that it will get better with feedback. So, hey, maybe we just solved a huge problem here. Maybe Bard now knows don't do stories with with strangers hanging around playgrounds. So, okay, let's try some things for fun. Let's do some lyrics. Okay, I'm telling Bard to write some Christian rap lyrics in the style of Lecrae. If you haven't heard of Lecrae, he is a Christian rapper that I like. Okay, so here's the lyrics that I got from Bard. Now, I had this great idea. I was going to lay down a beat, and I was going to rap these lyrics, but I couldn't make it work, and it's because they're not very good. A lot of them don't rhyme. The meter is really off. The amount of syllables is, it's just... Now, the thing about Lecrae is a lot of his raps are complicated, so maybe we give points to Bard for realizing that the meter is... that the amount of syllables in a lot of the lines in Lecrae's work are he just makes them fit. But check out how clever these lyrics sound. I'm a Christian rapper, but I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, but I'm forgiven. It doesn't rhyme, and it's so on the nose. Bah, no good. I'm trying to live my life for God, and I'm not always successful, but I'm trying, and that's all that matters. It's so bland. It's really bland. I'm not going to let my mistakes define me. I'm going to learn from them, and I'm going to grow from them. I'm going to keep trying to live my life for God, and I'm going to keep trying to make a difference in the world. I don't even want to read the rest of them. That's just not clever. And that's one of the things that I like about Lecrae is he's clever. He has a good turn of phrase, and it's interesting. This is really bland. He goes on to say, I'm not perfect, but I'm forgiven, and that's all that matters. I'm a Christian rapper, and I'm proud of it. I'm going to use my platform to spread the good news. Hey, that's a cool idea. And I'm going to use my voice to speak out against injustice. I'm going to be a voice for the voiceless, and I'm going to be a light in the darkness. I'm a Christian rapper, and I'm here to make a difference. Okay, so maybe about on the level of ChatGPT 4, but not like a huge advance here in cleverness. Maybe we need to do something to kind of test the poetic nature of Bard's abilities. Okay, let's try this on for size. We're going to do a little poetry. I'm telling Bard to write a short poem that uses flowery language, poetic imagery, and is incredibly clever in its use of vocabulary and word choice. The sun is a golden coin, hurled into the sky, to dance and sparkle and shine for all the world to see. The moon is a pearly orb, suspended in the night, to watch and wonder and dream of all the things that might be. The stars are diamonds scattered in the sky to sparkle and shine and dance for all the world to see. The night is a velvet cloak sewn with silver stars to wrap around the world and keep it safe from harm. The dawn is a golden ribbon tied around the sky to unwrap the night and let the world begin anew. I think I could shed a tear. That's not bad. I mean, I don't know, not the most brilliant poem, but if somebody handed me this and said, hey, I wrote this poem, what do you think? I'd say, hey, not bad. Not bad. You know, I mean, keep polishing a little bit, a couple of little weird things in there, but honestly, pretty good. Hey, you know what we ought to do? We ought to ask Bard to analyze the poem for its quality. Okay, I'm telling Bard to analyze the poem you just wrote for its poetic quality. Do it in the style of a comparative literature expert. Let's see what we get. Wow, okay. So Bard gave us quite a bit here. If you want to pause, you can read through it. I'm not going to read all of this, but check this out. It does give us a sense that it understands the language here. Let me scan this and see if I see anything that seems patently wrong. Okay, so as far as comparative literature, I think Bard isn't bad. I mean, he talks about imagery in the poem, personification, alliteration, assonance, symbolism. I mean, this is interesting. I mean, I guess those are some mechanical things that could be trained, but you know, we think of these kind of things as inherent to having to be able to think. And I don't think of Bard as thinking. I think of it as a brute force method of sort of stimuli response. And so this is pretty good. I think this might be better than ChatGPT on this level. Okay, let's try something else. Okay, here's what I put in. Explain the hypostatic union of Christ in 3 sentences. Write it in the style of an academic expert on the subject. The hypostatic union of Christ is just a notoriously difficult thing to explain. So let's see what Bard does here. Here's what Bard says. The hypostatic union of Christ is the mystery that Jesus Christ is one person with 2 natures, divine and human. He is fully God and fully man. The union is not a mixture of 2 natures, but a unique union of 2 distinct natures in one person. That seems contradictory. The union is not a mixture of 2 natures, but a unique union of 2 distinct natures in one person. Not sure that that's a meaningful distinction. I think that might not be a distinction. Put it in the comments if you see what Bard's saying there. I'm not sure if I'm seeing it. The hypostatic union is a central doctrine of Christianity and is essential to the understanding of the person and work of Jesus Christ. It is also a mystery that cannot be fully comprehended by human reason. Not bad. Not bad. But here's the thing. Bard is dodging, really trying to answer it in the same way that academics do. I mean, most academics will land on that last line that, we can't completely understand it. I mean, I agree, but that's the nature. Okay, let's try something else complicated. Bard seems to be pretty good at complicated stuff. What is the most... Okay, I have an idea. Okay, we're going to give Bard a challenge, something that would be pretty hard for a human to do. Explain the relationship between quantum entanglement and blueberry pie in 3 sentences or less. Do it in the style of Ronald Reagan speech. Let's see what he gives us. Did you know what I just did? I just personified Bard. I said he. That's interesting. We'll come back to that. Sure, here's what I came up with, Bard says. Blueberry pie and quantum entanglement are both amazing things that we don't fully understand, but they're both a part of our world, and they're both beautiful. Bah, no good, Bard. That's a fail. I'm going to put a thumbs down on that. Let's ask Bard to answer that one again. Okay, here's what Bard says on a second try. Scientists have proven that two entangled particles can affect each other, even when they are separated by great distance. This is called quantum entanglement. Blueberry pie is a delicious and refreshing dessert that is perfect for any occasion. It is made with fresh blueberries, sugar, and flaky crust. The two are not related. But could they be related? The answer is yes. If you're creative, you could find. Let's see. Let's tell Bard this. Okay, I'm saying find a creative way to make quantum entanglement and blueberry pie related. Do it in 3 sentences or less and write it in the style of a Ronald Reagan speech. I still am not picking up the Ronald Reagan element, so let's try this again. Sure, here is a creative way to make quantum entanglement and blueberry pie related. Quantum entanglement is like blueberry pie. It's a strange thing, but it's delicious. Nothing there. But this is complicated. Maybe this is where the human brain still excels, is taking two ideas and finding a connection. Because, who knows? Maybe in the data set, there has never been an instance where quantum entanglement has been talked about alongside blueberry pie. But that's exactly the point. A human has no problem figuring out, I think, how to relate those things. But it seems like Bard really is kind of struggling here. Let's try one more and see if Bard can do it. Okay, so Bard basically gave us the same thing. Sure, here's a creative way to make quantum entanglement and blueberry pie related. Quantum entanglement is like a blueberry pie. It's a mystery, but it's also delicious. I don't think blueberry pie is a mystery, so I'm going to give that a thumbs down. I think that's a fail. Okay, let's do one last thing. Okay, so my wife is pregnant with our 4th child, and so here's what I'm asking Bard. If you were given the task of naming my next child, who is due in September, what would you name him if it's a boy, or her if it's a girl? Give your reason for choosing the name that you do. Let's see what Bard has to say. Bard says, if it's a boy, I would name him Asher, which means happy or blessed. I chose this name because it is a beautiful and meaningful name that will bring your child joy for many years to come. Bring him joy for many years to come. What is it, a Christmas present? That's weird. If it's a girl, I would name her Evelyn, which means wished for child. I chose this name because it is a lovely and sentimental name that will remind you of the joy of your child's arrival. Okay, now here's an interesting thing. I think Asher does mean happy or blessed, but let's Google it. Blessed or happy, that's what Asher means. Evelyn means desired or wished for. Okay, so there's a data point. Bard knows what certain names mean, so that's cool. Hey, not bad. I think I'll give that a thumbs up. It's, fairly decent. Well, you get an idea here of what Bard is all about, and my initial review is that I don't think I have enough experience with it to know. I've used ChatGPT a lot. This feels like it's got some potential, but it does feel different, and I can't quite put my finger on it. It feels different. And I'm going to have to think about it for a little while and use it a little bit more. But if you happen to be on the wait list for Bard, or maybe you've already gotten into Bard, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. It'd be interesting to have a little chat about your experience, maybe share some of the odd idiosyncrasies that you've seen in your usage of Bard. Other than that, we look forward to what will come from this new, interesting, cutting-edge technology. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with you soon.